getting out there watering. We also have planted a few areas with edibles, so people may help themselves reasonably to peppers or tomatoes or whatever it is that is grown there, to add to their own fresh supplies. The Beaches School was one area where we planted the brick surrounded planting areas outside the school, and they were ever so grateful because we'd cut down large bushes which obscured the view of drivers trying to get into and out of the car park, and made the area pretty. And just when you walk down a street and there's no litter and it looks tidy and there are beautiful bushes and flowers growing, doesn't that just lift your spirits? Now, when I was looking at the origins of PECT, I found some information on the council website. In 2008, the city adopted a target of being the UK's environmental capital. And there is an Environment Action Plan, both for the council and citywide. And just earlier this week, I was sat at the City Leadership Forum when somebody was berating our city, and they said, every time you drive into the city, you see this Peterborough sign in green on a white background, and it says, Environment Capital of the UK. And yet, when you get into the city, you don't feel that it's a truly environmental, rich and friendly society. So I looked further onto the council website, and sure enough, there is an Environment Action Plan. In fact, there are two, one for the City Council specifically, and another one for city-wide projects. So that's been going for 10 years. It was updated by the council in 2017 to give fresh targets across 10 areas of concern and interest, which will take us through to 2020. But I wonder whether we feel that we're living in a city that is UK's environmental capital. And I think, to be fair, some of the things that are happening behind the scenes, such as much better recycling and energy, and the way we generate energy from recycled materials and waste materials, is all to the good. So environmental capital doesn't just mean what you see visibly, but also knowing how the city functions efficiently and caringly for our environment. Talking about recycling, I was chairing a public meeting a couple of evenings ago, and we had representation from the police service and the city council. One of the questions came up about fly tipping and whether people should be taking more rubbish to the municipal tips. What transpired was that some people will want to get rid of, say, a mattress or an old sink, and have a friend with a white van who would be able to get that large object in the van and take it to the dump at Parnwell. The problem is white vans, transit vans, large vehicles arriving in those sorts of places are turned away because they're regarded as commercial. Now, I'm delighted to see somebody arriving and coming in. Hello.
Hello. Sorry I'm late. I got lost.
So, we do indeed now have our guest. And are you Karen?
I am Karen.
Ego.
Hello, yes, hello. That's right.
Right. And you are Communities Manager from PECT.
Yes, that's
I've introduced PECT and talked a little bit about your work. I've also been talking about the City Environmental Plan, but I'd love to delve a little bit more into PECT. and what PECT gets up to.
So we're an environmental charity. We've been in the city for 25 years.
Wow.
We're totally independent, so we are reliant on funding like many charities are, but our independence does mean that we can work in the areas that we feel are the most important for the environment and for Peterborough, which is great. So we work across different areas, trying to help the city to make sure that resources are used well, that the natural environment is healthy, and that communities are involved in everything that we do.
Now, when you say the natural environment is healthy, that sounds like a council enforcement officer, environmental standards or something.
No, so we all want clean air, green spaces for our children to play that are safe, good places where we can grow food and work together as a community to make that happen. So, our parks are healthy and clean and well used, and all of this stuff is difficult to achieve, but we're in Millfield at the moment, and some of the work we've been doing here for our Growing Communities project is we've been working with communities to take over some of the more disused flower beds, and we've been planting stuff in there last year.
Yes.
And we're going to continue to do that this year.
You are. That's great. I was telling our listeners about that project.
Yeah, and it's great. And that's we're really keen on grassroots stuff. So that was a group that you'll probably know, Communities First.
I chair it.
You chair it, yeah. So Communities First. So Zaid came to us and said, look, how can you help? And we worked together on a plan, and we managed to get the funding to do that work, which is great. And we've got some more funding at the moment to work in this area as well, which I'd like to tell you about, which is we're doing some cooking and growing.
Cooking and growing?
Yes. So,
or perhaps the other way round, you grow it first?
Well, we're at the Open Door Baptist Church every Thursday afternoon for the next sort of 10 weeks or so. We've got funding from Heart Research UK, and we're doing heart healthy cookery. So this is really lovely, tasty food, but that's good for you. Chap that I've been working with today has got a little bit of an issue with his weights. His dietitian's referred him. He's come along and he's never cooked before. Chuck his stuff in a microwave. He's making curries. Today we've been making soup. He's learning how to do things with vegetables, and it's great. And it's not just him. We've got a small group of people, but it's all funded. You get to eat the food. The great thing is as well is at the end of the day we invite the community to come in and share what we eat, what we've made. So we can have a nice community meal with the food that we've been making. So if you are concerned about your heart or your weight or anything like that, you can come along, do the sessions for free, but at the same time give something back to the community. By helping to feed people that perhaps need that food, which is brilliant.
Gosh. So when does that happen?
So it's Thursday afternoons at 1 o'clock at the Open Door Church Hall. That's on Sargent Street. Okay. And then to link with that, when it gets a little bit warmer, because it's a bit chilly for me to be out gardening, to be honest, at the moment, we're going to be doing small gardening sessions. So we hope that people that come along and do the cooking will come along and do some gardening. So they can, gardening's great fun. It's a good communal activity, but it's also good for our health because it keeps us moving. And having said that, if people have got mobility issues, we can cater for that as well. So it's not just for your strapping 6'4" builders or whatever that want to come along. Everybody is welcome.
Women as well as men?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Children, perhaps?
We're very happy for people to bring their children along, as long as they're well behaved and they're supervised. I think that's the thing. I mean, we're a family activity, but we're not a creche. We're not there to look after people's children. But for instance, at the cooking class, there's a couple of the ladies that come and they bring their babies and they're just in their push chairs, and their children are actually at school. And some of the ladies that come along have got children they need to pick up, so they come at 1 o'clock, they'll stay till 3, and then hopefully they'll come back with their children to eat with us once they've collected them after school.
I just wanted to check the people thinking, maybe I couldn't go because I've got a child in tow.
No, it's fine. As long as they're well behaved and they supervise them, that's absolutely fine.
Now, it's 1 p.m. on Thursday at the Open Door Baptist Church.
That's right.
I always think of that as being in Harris Street.
So the church is on Harris Street, but the church hall where we are is on Sargent Street.
Good.
That's
good
why.
For us to know. And do people need to book up with you, or can they just turn up?
It'd be nice if they did, but if they want to just turn up, that's fine. We've got a big space and we've got lots of stuff going on, so I'm happy for people to just come along. And if you're listening and, you know, it's not your bag or you know how to cook, but you've got a relative or a friend that might benefit from this, do please tell them about it and send them along.
Sure. I love curries. I'm wondering if I might be listening and thinking I can offer some cooking ideas and cooking skills.
Yeah, that would be great. We had a lady last week who's African heritage, and she showed us how to do garlic in a way that I'd never seen before. She got a knife and she was chopping it away and just making it into a paste, really, which was lovely, you know. And it's been great because we've been able to share cooking tips and within the group with people that either haven't cooked before, because that's fine, but people that have cooked before can always learn something new. I mean, I've been cooking all my life. I'm a middle-aged lady now, it's fair to say, I think. But, you know, I've been learning stuff from the ladies that have come along, you know, so it's great.
You're really broadening my understanding of the activities that PECT are involved in.
Yeah. I mean, other things we do in terms of the environment is we're planting a forest for Peterborough. So we're planting a tree for everyone in the city. And the city keeps growing, so we have to keep increasing the numbers. But we planted our 100,000th tree last year in November.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So, yeah, we've got trees going in all over the place. I particularly work with community groups, and we do a lot of work. So we've helped to set up a cafe in Westwood in the past, for instance. We've set up a community fridge network. We help with food waste projects. We do a lot of energy work and fuel poverty work. This week it's been a very busy week for me because it's big energy saving week. So we've been going around and doing events in different places and really telling people about checking what who their supplier is and what tariff they're on for their gas and electric, and to switch if they can. They can save £400 or £500 a year just doing that. But if people would like a home visit, there's service available in the city and into Fenland and South Kesteven, where you can have a person come round to your house and they'll check what you're doing with your gas and electric. They'll give you energy saving hints and tips. If you've got fuel debt or you have got a bigger debt problem, we can help with that as well, try and help with that as well. And if your home has got issues, there's grants available to help with the fabrics, and we can bring all those services together in one home visit. So
and
do
this
get in
isn't
touch.
Somebody trying to sell an energy switch?
No, not
or
at all.
to sell insulation?
No.
Okay.
So we can provide, to be fair, most of the social housing in Peterborough is of a very high standard. I mean, I was working in Cambridge last year, and don't tell the people in Cambridge, but the houses here are just so much better. But, you know, if you own your own home and you've got a low income, you might not have been able to afford to have that cavity wall insulation done. If you've got a private landlord, they might not have had that done for you. So there's grants available, government grants available, and we can help people to apply for those grants to get those services. There's grants for first-time central heating systems and all sorts of things out there. And it's different area by area. So, you know, if you get the home visit, the people that come out, they can help point you in the right direction or help you to even apply for these things if necessary.
What happens if somebody is a tenant of a private landlord?
Well, so we can go round and we can definitely help people with making sure they're on the right tariff for their gas and electricity. We can also help people if they've got certain disabilities. You can get a tariff for your water. So if you are listening and you know people that might have problems that mean they have to do extra washing, that type of thing, just have a look and talk to Anglian Water, and they've got tariffs available. But we can help with that as well, with applications for those funds. And that can be as much as 80% off of your water bill, which is really worth knowing, isn't it?
It is indeed.
There's things like the Warm Homes discount that we can help people to apply for. So that's £140 off of your gas and electric bill if you're on a low income. There's the Priority Service Register, which is for people that might be more vulnerable, and we can help people to sign up for that. And that means if there's a power cut in your area, they'll get to you first and help you and that kind of thing. So there's a lot involved. So we can help with all those sorts of things if you're in a private rented house, but we can also give you hints and tips on how to use less power and keep warm and well. And if there are issues with your home, we can help you to talk to your landlord or talk to the city council to help you with your landlord if they're difficult. But it might be, we could just talk, if you've got a good relationship with your landlord, which lots of people have, you could ask them to apply for the grant to get the cavity wall insulation in.
Right.
Or other things that are needed.
And that would improve the value of the property for the landlord anyway.
Absolutely, and the comfort of the people that are living in it, so then people are happy there, so they stay longer and they're getting the rent, so it's all good for everybody.
I think it's worth us just thinking through, how do people access this service, this great advice? Okay,
so if people have access to the internet, they can go onto the PECT website, so just Google PECT. It's PECT, so it's pect.org.uk. You can go on if you want the website address. I'm sure you'll be able to put some info out on your social media, Mabel. That'd be lovely. Yes. Or they can call into the office if you don't use the internet and you want to make a phone call. So Peterborough 01733 866 441.
866 441.
Yeah.
And again, we'll put that on our social media.
Yeah, that would be lovely. And then people can contact us and we can make arrangements to come and visit people.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And if people want to find out more about the cooking and growing, please do give us a call or drop us an email or something. Or we've got our social media as well. So if you just look on Facebook or Twitter for PECT, we'll get back to you that way as well.
Right. Fantastic. Do you have sort of open days or public events where a broader number of people can come?
We run the longest running green festival in the country. So that's been running for nearly 30 years now. It's been in the city centre traditionally, but last year we tried it out at Neem Park and that went very well. So people can come along to that. That usually happens in the summer, although we are having a rest year this year. And then what we tend to do, rather than having open days or events like that, we go to other people's events. So, for instance, if the Millfield Festival or things like that, we can go along and we give information. We do activities around trees or building back boxes or whatever really suits the event that we're at.
Sure. And sometimes community groups would like to have a speaker come along.
Yeah.
Is that something
I do quite a lot of that. I mean, I spoke for WI and I've spoke for Extended Hands recently, and it's and the Rotary clubs and all that kind of thing. I did a project a few years ago now called Faith in the Environment, and I worked with 5 different faith groups across the city and helping them to think more sustainably and helping them to make their buildings more sustainable. I worked with a Christian group and worked with the girls at the Akbar Academy. That was my Muslim group. I worked with one of the Gurdwaras, with the Sikh group, and also with a Hindu group. And it was great. It was one of the best things I've ever done in my working career. I've met so many different people and learnt so much from people, and especially about the levels of sort of tolerance there is in the city. Everyone getting on with each other. We've got lots of people from lots of different areas in Peterborough and lots of different faiths, and it's really nice to see people getting along. That through those connections I still go along and give talks to faith groups and so on. I gave a talk this week at Gladker to their students about saving energy, and I'm a member of the Gladker board there, so I kind of like, can I come along and give a talk, because it's big energy saving week. But it was great. I got to talk to 30 students, and hopefully they'll be able to go away and save some energy. So please, if you want us to come along and chat about the environment, get in touch.
Wonderful. And do you have any spare time?
No, what's that? No, not really.
I got an impression that you've got a dog that helps you relax and go for walks. I do, yeah. Yeah, her name's Dee Dee, and she's a 10-year-old whippet. Yeah, she's lovely. When I saw your biography, I saw that you'd run a number of projects in PECT. Greeniversity.
Oh, yeah, that was one of my first projects when I first started working at PECT 10 years ago. We don't have that project running anymore, unfortunately, but it was all about sharing green skills. Now, the thing is when we did it 10 years ago, there wasn't anything like it really happening. So we got people together. We had teachers that gave their time for free, and people would come along and they'd have lessons in all sorts of different things. Now there's lots more of this sort of thing goes on in communities in general, I think. And with social media taking off so well, it's kind of taken the place of what we did, really. So people are able to promote stuff and see what's going on. I know there's the new centre that's just opened. I can't remember what it's called now, forgive me, in Gladstone, but there's it's a space that people have taken over, and they're doing all different art projects and things like that. Wonderful. That people can get involved in, so there's lots going on.
Well, we're running up to our break time, so it's time for me to say, Karen Ego, the community manager from PECT, thank you so much for being our first guest tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me come along and tell you more about what we're doing. And please do come along and cook with me. I've been looking forward to seeing anyone that wants to come.
Wonderful. So do stay tuned, because after the break we have more guests, and this time we'll be talking about interfaith work in Peterborough.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The best house is that house in which an orphan is treated kindly." 140 million children around the world today are orphans, living with no hope of a future or an education. For just 50 pence a day, you can transform an orphan's life and give them the secure future they deserve. Call 03000 11 11 11 now, or visit www.pennyappeal.org. Penny Appeal, small change, big difference.
Peterborough just got a whole lot tastier. Five Lads Flame Grilled Peri Peri Chicken is now open. Bring your family and friends to Peterborough's first HMC meat-selling restaurant. We are experts in grilled chicken, lamb chops, and gourmet lamb and beef burgers. Our healthy options include fresh salads and fresh grilled vegetables. Fresh, clean, and healthy grilled food with 4 different flavours: lemon and herb, medium, hot, and extra hot. 5-star hygiene rating. Eat in, order and collect, or order for delivery on Deliveroo. Follow 5 Lads Peterborough on Facebook and Instagram. 5 Lads, 15 Cowgate, Peterborough, PE1 1LZ. Call 01733 56 22 87. Open 7 days a week, 12 to 11 p.m.
Almarad Tiles. With over 70 stores nationwide, we are now open in Peterborough. Up to 50% discount offers now on. Largest selection of tiles. Full bathroom suites from only £189. Paint, LED lighting, laminate flooring from only £7.99. Over 1,000 designs of wallpaper in stock. We have everything you need. Come and visit us at 193 Fengate, Peterborough, PE1 5BH, or call us on 01733 34 58 47. Almarad Tiles, now open.
Had a car accident or an accident at work? Accident specialists are experts in no-win, no-fee accident claims. Leave the hassle to us. Our multilingual settlement experts will manage the entire claims process on your behalf, with nothing to pay up front. We provide services such as credit hire, taxi vehicles, recovery, storage and much more. For full details on our range of services and a free consultation, call us on 01733 555 774 or visit our office at 249 Lincoln Road opposite the NatWest Bank. Accident Specialists. Start your successful claim today.
Feel like some great tasting chicken tonight? Great meal deals, wraps, burgers and sides. We've got it all at Chicken Palace. Call and collect at 302 Lincoln Road on 01733 702 447 or 8 Park Road on 01733 343750. Chicken Palace, open 11 a.m. till late.
ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لو يعطى الناس بدعواهم لادعى رجال أموال قوم ودماءهم لكن البينة على المدعي واليمين على من أنكر.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Welcome back to Salaam Radio on 106.2 FM and online at salamradio.co.uk. This is Adrian Holdstock presenting Community Matters, the radio show for all communities across Peterborough and beyond. Now tomorrow, the 25th of January, is World Religion Day, and in a few days' time, from the 1st to the 7th of February, it will be World Interfaith Harmony Week. So what better than we should invite representatives from Peterborough Interfaith Council? I'm delighted to welcome to Salaam Radio Rajni Reddy, the Treasurer of the Interfaith Council and prominent member of the Hindu community. And Rajni, we met at the Millfield Festival, and then I came to visit you at your Hindu temple.
Yes, and it was really wonderful meeting you there because it was the start of something good, I suppose.
Yes, yeah. Indeed. Well, now, World Religion Day was started in 1950 by the National Spiritual Assembly of the Baha'is in the USA. But it became a worldwide phenomenon and is now celebrated around the world on the third Sunday in January each year. But what does religion mean to you, Rajni?
Religion is a very personal understanding of one's faith. Actually, it means living a good life. That's what it guides us to do. And it's nothing about magic or mysticism. It is just leading a good life and being a noble person.
Is it about following a set of rules?
Not necessarily, but it guides you to choose between what is good for you and what is not good for you.
So it's more of a guide than a rule book.
Yes, that's what I believe in. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see, in this world today, and I think particularly in the Western world, we feel as if religion is becoming privatised. It's not something that people talk about in public, in the street or in restaurants. And yet, many people are searching for wisdom, spirituality, wholeness. One of the common words used today is mindfulness. And yet all of that traces its roots back to religion. But should we be worried that fewer people seem to be following the main religions?
Yes, I think so, especially the younger generation, because they're so caught up in their day-to-day activities. They don't think religion is important for them anymore. So it is the duty of people like us to make them understand that it is important, because what it ultimately does is it gives you a lot of peace of mind, which is in very much in demand these days.
And that's something that surely we would all be looking for.
Yes, definitely.
And so it's a bit of a converse for people to reject religion and then say, but I'm looking for peace of mind.
Yes, it's all within you. It's all within you. You only can have your own peace inside you. You can't search for it outside, in the outside environment.
Certainly, within the Christian church, we have that feeling that the younger generation want to break away, want to be more independent, don't want to believe in things because their parents' generation tell them that that's the best thing to believe. I've also heard a similar comment from the Muslim community, that they are getting worried that the younger generation, the children at the moment growing up, are growing out of religion. How is it for Hindus?
Yeah, as a spokesperson for the Hindu community, for the Hindus, it's not so divergent, because the younger generation do participate in all the festivals. So that's the first step. We feel, to involve them in the religious activities. And of course, when they are busy with their studies and getting their jobs, they wouldn't devote much time. But as they come into their 30 plus age group, then they start coming to the temple and trying to take part in the activities. So that's what we have observed.
I love that idea that you bring the young people in and the children in to activities. You have the wonderful concept of dance and using dance in a spiritual way, of dressing in bright clothes and colours. And we're joined by our second guest, and this is Aprana Aravind.
Yes.
Also from the Hindu community.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Sorry I'm late.
No, please come and join us. We're just talking about how we engage young people in our religions to keep them involved and get them interested in things that they like to do. And we were talking about
the festivals
yes.
we have in the Hindu calendar.
Yes.
Yes, that's a very good way to attract the youngsters. In fact, I'd just like to say something, because I've just this evening in school I had a feedback, because we do school visits just like all other places of worship do.
Yes.
And just this evening we received some feedback from my son's school, who were there on Tuesday to visit our temple. And the children were really happy, and they were they spoke about the stories behind the deities and the reason why festivals are celebrated. So that seemed to capture their imagination and take their fancy.
Now, I remember, Rajni, a couple of months ago, I was trying to get hold of you, and you were always out at festivals.
Yes.
Is that the phenomena for the Hindu faith?
Yes, because we have, you could say, 3 million gods and goddesses. So we could celebrate 2 or 3 festivals every day of the year, if we choose to.
Is there anything happening at the moment?
Yes, we did have a festival last week. That's a harvest festival called Sankranti. So that was important for us, and it goes on and on and on. Yes.
Yes, and the Telugu community had a rangoli competition, of making patterns on the floor with colored powder for little children as well. Yes. And I think there was good participation.
Oh, wonderful. Now, we wanted to talk about interfaith work. How much does the Hindu community liaise, communicate, or meet with people of other faiths?
Yes, we do a lot, because we invite a lot of visitors to come and participate in our festivities and our festivals, and we have a lot of school visits, and we do training for the police and for the NHS. So we do quite a lot. The Hindu community of Peterborough, we do participate in a lot of activities, and today we also went for the Holocaust Observation Day.
Yes, yes. That's so important that we remember that on behalf of our Jewish friends and neighbours.
Yes, and we do that even on behalf of Interfaith, because Interfaith is an important, Peterborough Interfaith Council is very important for our society here, because we promote good relations between all the different faith communities, and it gives us a platform to interact with everybody, and we promote 2-3 events each year, and we go on trips. So it's a very important tool for cohesion in Peterborough society.
Yes.
Yes.
And I was delighted to come and visit you at your temple. We all met up. There was some wonderful singing going on with some of your older ladies.
Yes, that happens every Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, Mondays and Tuesdays.
Okay.
Yes.
But could other faith groups who might want to learn a little bit more about the Hindu faith and a temple and experience that, could they come?
Oh yes, actually it's good you asked me, because I'm starting a course on Introduction to Hinduism on the 2nd of February at the Hindu temple. It's between 4 to 5. So anybody who's interested is most welcome. This is the first time we're doing it.
Right.
Yes, so I thought we must make a beginning somewhere. So it's on February 2nd. It's a Saturday, 4 to 5 p.m. Yes.
Just that one day, or is it?
No, it's a 6-week course.
Okay.
So every Saturday for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
We are going to have it.
Do you have a Facebook page or website that
yes
people could look at?
Yes,
because we can put that up on Salaam Radio as a link for people if they're interested to learn a little bit more about you.
Yes, it is a Bharat Hindu Samaj website, and we have a Facebook page.
Right.
All the activities are uploaded there regularly. Yes.
I think it's a wonderful opportunity for people to think, because you're not about trying to make lots more Hindus.
No way.
Hinduism has never been about that.
But it's not in our agenda at all, even in our scriptures or anything like that. We don't try any conversions.
In fact, in our morning aarti, as part of the morning service, there is a line in the aarti that goes, Ishwar Allah Tero Nam, so which is like, we know God by different names. So that's sung as a part of the aarti. So we believe that God is one.
Yes.
Yes.
And we believe God is in each one of us.
Yes.
Yes, that's important for us.
Which I think is that interpretation of that word of greeting, namaste.
Yes.
The God in me greets the God in you.
Yes. Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to be joined by Zaid, the Secretary of the Peterborough Interfaith Council, and hopefully he can bring some Muslim perspective
insight
on this
into
as well.
them. Yes, that would be wonderful.
What other faiths are represented in that council?
Interfaith.
Yes.
We have Churches of England, and we have the Buddhist faith, we have the Jewish faith.
Yeah.
We used to have the Baha'i faith, but they're not coming anymore. But
Sikhs as well.
Yeah, we have the Sikh faith. Then the Catholic faith, and of course all the Muslim faith groups. Yes.
In fact, I met some Sikhs recently. It was last November when there was a big gathering at the museum for in anticipation of the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I, the armistice. And the Sikhs were there because many of them and their ancestors had served in the military from countries like India. It wasn't Pakistan at the time, it was all India.
Yes, even the Hindu community were represented there. They came,
right.
Yes. It was wonderful to have these events. Because it brings back together the reality that we are much, much better off now than it was before. So we must sort of recognize that. Yes, we are more at peace now than we were before. Yes.
Want to come back to a point I was making earlier about religion these days seems to be more privatized. People are less willing to talk about religion and faith publicly. I've always found, living in this area of Peterborough, majority of my neighbours are Muslim, that they're very open about, happy to talk about faith, even if we disagree about different aspects of our scriptures and our teaching about the nature of God and so on, we find so much that we have in common. What's your perspective looking out from the Hindu community?
Well, I do agree that it's becoming more of a private affair. I think a lot of it has to do with the lifestyles that we lead now. The choices that it offers gives us flexibility. And Hinduism, the market thing about Hinduism is that it's a very flexible religion. And it also allows you worship at different levels according to your temperament, really.
Right.
You can be into rituals. You can be into a very impersonal form of worship, that of self-realization, or you can have a personal God and do deity worship and idol worship. So Hinduism as such is a very flexible religion, and you can be as hard and fast or as easy as you like. And what you said about, about some people, how they're open about, I think it also has a lot to do with the community. Some communities worship as a people, and that makes it together, and that makes it easier for them to actually talk about it and relate to it. A lot of Hindus actually worship at home or as well as in the temple.
Okay.
So in those cases, it might be more of a private affair.
But at least when they get home, they have their little shrine. They have their scriptures, perhaps.
They do. They do. And again, at festival times, it's a time of coming together, celebrating together. So there is the private aspect, and there is the together aspect.
Yes.
Whereas there's something called Sankirtan. The word itself in Sanskrit means worship together, chanting of the names of Lord in unison, in a group.
Right.
And now that is believed to have a lot of power.
Yes.
To rid ourselves of evil and to bring auspiciousness.
I remember once I was on holiday visiting in Kerala, and we saw little candles in glass jars at the front door of each of the houses, and that was significant apparently when dusk fell.
Yes, we have this lighting of lamps outside our homes. It symbolizes the end of darkness and the entry of light of knowledge into our homes. So that's the significance always when we light the lamps. And this happens in all the religions, I think, the singing together of prayers and songs, because it takes the worship to a different level altogether. It's there in all the religions of the world.
Yes, it is, certainly. Zaid is going to join us. Pull up a chair. Can we slot around? And just while we move the furniture around, let me introduce Zaid Akbar, the Secretary of the Peterborough Interfaith Council and a prominent local Muslim.
Good evening, Adrian.
Good evening.
Good evening, Rajni and Aparna.
Hello, Zaid.
Apologies for, please accept my sincere apologies because I was just basically just today notified when I was at school, when I left school about 5 o'clock, that my son's parents' evening was today at 5:10. So I had to rush to pick him up and then obviously just drop him off and just got back here.
No, you can't be late for that. You get a black mark.
Of course.
I was introducing the fact that tomorrow is World Religion Day, and from the 1st of February it's World Interfaith Harmony Week. And I looked up where that came from. It was founded at the United Nations in 2010. It was suggested by King Abdullah II of Jordan, unanimously adopted by the United Nations, and so it's always observed each year about this time of year as the World Interfaith Harmony Week. Now, how will Peterborough Interfaith Council be celebrating World Interfaith Harmony Week?
we obviously Rajni is. I'm sure she's been introduced as our treasurer, and obviously Aparna, a long-serving member as well of the Peterborough Interfaith Council. We have, Rajni will, I'm sure, support me on this. We've had numerous events. Peterborough Interfaith Council always gets together to put on festivals, events, talks. We have obviously last year, wasn't it, when we had the 40th
Faith and Food Festival?
Yeah, merged with our 40th anniversary celebration. And this was an amazing event at the Cathedral Square, where we had obviously dignitaries from the council, and as well as obviously
all the local
external
people,
speakers, local people came along. We had performances from different faiths. And our next one is again in February the 27th, where we have our
UN Children's Day.
Children's Service Day, United Nations Children's Service Day. Again, that's an annual event which we have at the Cathedral, where we have representatives from different faiths working with different schools in Peterborough, where they merge together and have a performance, or may do a reading from the Holy Scripture, and then we end up with a lovely finger buffet and coffee and teas, which is the best time of the evening.
Yes, and we meet up with everybody.
Right.
It's a really nice evening. It works out to be a very, very nice evening, because there's so much of community cohesion, and all the children are there, so they too understand what we are doing. Yes, it's
what
very
sort
important.
of turnout do you hope to get for that?
For that, obviously, every year it's about 200 people, isn't it? 200 plus people, because we know that, because a lot of times our samosas and our onion bhajis run out, don't they?
While you're mentioning the cathedral, another interfaith activity took place there at last Ramadan, when some of our Muslim community invited us to an iftar meal at the breaking of fast,
of course,
in the grounds of the cathedral.
That's right.
The steps of the west entrance to the cathedral.
And I think it was the first time it was happening there.
That's right. Yes, it was. Yes.
It was lovely, and we had obviously I can't remember the name of the bishop who.
It was the dean.
The dean,
yes.
That's right.
Yes,
the dean of cathedral. He actually, I think he was our the host, master of ceremony of the event.
Yeah. Well, he welcomed you.
Yeah,
yes.
welcomed you.
And Sheikh Mahmood spoke.
And then we had one of the members from Fazana Medina Mosque to do the call to prayer as well. So it's a lovely event where we had obviously people from all backgrounds, all faiths, getting together just to celebrate and just to have obviously break the fast with us. With lots of dates. Obviously, I'm sure that arose sugar levels of many people. But I mean, that was it was a lovely event to have.
It was so well organised, and I remember that some of the guests who weren't familiar with an iftar meal, as dusk was approaching, some of the servants were taking around the dates and giving one to each person, and we were all thinking, no, we can't eat it yet, and a little glass of water
that's
as
right,
well,
yes.
because breaking the fast is not only from food, of course, but from any liquids as well.
That's right.
And it's a very long day in May and June.
It is a long day, and that's, again, being a teacher at school as well, when I observe the fast, and many students do, and obviously many non-Muslim students, actually, they're astonished at the fact that how, even the colleagues as well, really, staff members, that, how can he stay, we can understand staying without food, but staying without water, how do you do it? And it's so difficult. And obviously, I tell them that, we do it year in, year out, and, we become healthier and healthier. And also, I think it's not only part of the Muslim faith, but I'm sure, you have elements in Hinduism as well who fast, don't they?
But it's not at such a big stretch. We do it for 1 or 2 days, but not without water. I think it defies science if you can stay without water for 40 days. It's incredible.
It is. But I mean, obviously, don't forget. It's a fast from dawn till dusk. So that's the only time when you don't have food or drink. But then we eat and we have big feasts.
No, but still, it's difficult from dawn till dusk. We don't drink water.
Yeah, I know. Yes. I think a person who's not experienced, would envisage to be impossible. How do you do it? It is difficult. But I mean, people do it, and I think we're well experienced with that now, and it doesn't really affect us. So
in Hindu faith, we do fast. I do myself, but it's you're allowed to drink water. That's one thing you are allowed. You're not supposed to eat grains or things like that. We are allowed to drink water and eat fruits. So
I've come across a friend of mine who's a Jain, and they fast for a longer period, don't they?
Jains actually, they're quite different because they're not supposed to eat after 6 in the evening. Yes, that's the rules they follow. So because they feel that there are so many microbes in this world who are more activated during the evening hours, and they may inadvertently swallow them.
Okay.
So a lot of Jain monks with their mouths covered permanently.
Yeah.
I mean, like they have like a cover for their mouth.
A face mask, yes.
Open a mask just for their mouth.
So that they're not allowed to eat after 6 in the evening. But in a way, it's scientific because it's very healthy.
Of course.
If you don't eat after 6 in the evening, that's the best way to be healthy also.
Now, there is a Jain temple, and I was told when I visited it must have been 20 years ago, that it was the only Jain temple in Europe. That may not be true now, but in Leicester. I recommend you can go along and visit wonderful wooden carvings.
Yes, we've been on an interfaith trip to the Jain temple there.
Yes,
it's beautiful. Yes, we've been there. Yes.
Now, one of the faiths or religions that is a little different from ours is Buddhism, because there isn't the same anticipation of a god or overseer or creator figure. But Buddhism is rather more about a personal journey. How have you found? Have you had conversations with Buddhists?
Yes, actually, Buddhism originated in India, and it was a sort of renaissance of Hinduism, because in those days some of the priests, they were misusing Hinduism. So that's how Gautam Buddha, he got enlightenment and he founded the sect. And the same thing can be said for Jainism also. But in India, Buddhism is considered part of Hinduism, because Buddha is supposed to be a reincarnation of God Vishnu.
Right.
So that's why it's not regarded as a separate religion in India.
Well,
okay.
Because according to the scriptures, it said that whenever there is a decline of righteousness in this world, I will come and take an avatar. So this isn't as a part of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Song of God, which is the holy book of the Hindus.
Wow. So well, now we've been beaten by time. Time is running out. So what I want to do is to thank my guest tonight, talking about interfaith harmony, in a wonderful, harmonious conversation, Zaid Akbar, Rajni Reddy and Aprana Aravind. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity,
Adrian. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's all we have time for tonight on Community Matters. Remember, you are the community that matters. And let me sign off saying Salaam, Shalom, Namaste, and the peace of God to you all. Good night.